Hi, this is Sean with another quick hit. I think I'm going to be obsessed with this movie. This is my third posting on it, and I think I'm only 20 minutes in. This is Madam Web, my exercise movie. I actually let it run past some moments so that I could get my heart rate going for a little bit. I'm not hating this movie per se, and I'm seeing a lot of good things that they're doing in the movie, but they are making a basic mistake, and that is not being inside the moment. So this is one of the things I talk to my writers about all the time, especially the new writers, is when they're writing the characters, they're thinking, oh, I've got to get the character from A to B, and they move character from A to B, instead of being inside. So the character ends up doing things that the character wouldn't do or doesn't fit the moment. So, you'd have a bunch of characters, running out of a building because there's a fire drill, and they stop and they have a conversation before they leave the building about how cute the girl was in chemistry class, and you really should have talked to her. It's like, no, they're running out of the building. They're not going to stop and have that conversation. It's happening in the wrong place. And the reason that you don't know that is because you're not inside the story. You're outside the story dictating to the characters what to do. And I think this is going to be my guess, is the main reason why Madam Web was not a well-received movie is because the filmmakers are not inside the movie. And I'm not going to blame just the writers here. I think that there are some writing problems. Like, again, I'm seeing some really good, cool stuff. So it's not just the writer, but it's also the director, and it's also the producers who think that the audience is too dumb to follow this movie. And so they're spoon-feeding information in a way that doesn't make any sense. So an example of not being inside the moment, when we first meet Cassie, she's an ambulance driver, and she's driving way too fast and way too recklessly. And Ben in the back is saying, hey, slow down. This is worse than the army. And she's like, this person's not going to die, or, not going to lose her, whatever, on my watch, right? She's being macho, and she's showing it's important. We got to get this person to the hospital. And then she almost hits a young girl and stops. And the young girl kind of like stares at her for a little bit and then walks away. And she flashes her horn at the girl. And the girl gives her the finger. And she makes comments about, shouldn't she be at school? And then she stares at her for, 20 seconds, 30 seconds. Now, remember, in the back of the ambulance, somebody is dying, and she's breaking all these speed limits and traffic rules to save them. And she's going to stop and stare at this girl. Why? Well, because this girl obviously is going to be another character, and we have to do a character introduction, and we have to stop and look at the character. So she's doing what the movie is asking her to do. She's not in her own circumstances. A little bit later, she's giving CPR to a guy. I'm going to blame the director for this one, because I think he thought, oh, it'd look cool if she's giving CPR, because there's a bunch of chaos things going on. So she's giving CPR to somebody. Why do you give CPR to somebody? Well, you give CPR to somebody because their heart is not beating. So she's working on somebody on the ground whose heart is not beating. In the meantime, Ben and two other guys are rolling a gurney past, and Ben is saying, yes, his leg is fractured, but everything else is fine. Now, that means that they're assigning 3 paramedics to work on a guy whose leg is fractured while she's working all alone on the guy with CPR. Why? Because we're looking for the cool look. She doesn't need anybody for what she's going to do for her scene, so we're doing it for the movie, not the moment. And then, moments later, they need to call Cassie away. So somebody says, hey, Cassie, I need you. She looks down at the guy whose heart is not beating, who she's giving CPR to, and says, hey, you're fine, ready for transport, and gets up, which means that she wasn't giving CPR to this guy. His heart was beating fine, because otherwise... Why is she able to just stop whenever she feels like it, and this guy is fine? So again, that's for the movie, not for the character. The creators of this movie were not inside the movie. If they were inside the movie, they'd have the characters act the way the characters should act in their circumstances. Writers, write from inside your movie, not on the outside, having the characters do what they need to do for the movie. Inside, the characters doing what the characters would be doing as the characters are living this life. This has been another quick hit.